Alright, what is going on, my dudes? We're back here today with the next champion entering MCOC. We got Spider-Punk. Now, sorry I'm a little bit late on this one. I already have him on the live server, ranked up and ascended and maxed out. I like this guy a lot. He's a lot of fun. He's super cool. We're going to break down what he does today, how to play him, all that fun stuff. You know how we do it today, okay? So let's jump in right away, alright? So, Spider-Punk's rebellious spirit, alright? His brain and body have been annihilated countless times at concerts, making him immune to concussion debuffs and rupture effects. Now, that's interesting, okay? So he's the only champion in the game who is all the time 100,000,000% always immune to all rupture effects. Now, Scorpion can shift his immunity to do that, right? Lady Deathstrike is immune to ruptures like during special attacks and all that stuff, but being completely immune to rupture effects could make him sneaky okay on defense if the opponent that you're fighting in Battlegrounds, for example, only has like rupture-based attackers. Let's say they have like a Tiger left and like a Lady Deathstrike, right? Something like that. Then they're not really going to be able to do anything to this guy. So he's not the best defender in the game, but in certain situations he could be very annoying, okay? Which could be nice. Here's a little bit of flavor for each tag on the opponent. He gains some extra attack. That's not super important. It's plus 12 attack rating. You know, it's just there for fun. So, his personal ruptures deal physical damage over 14 seconds, max out at 8, and on defense, they scale with base attack only, so they won't just automatically kill you. When he intercepts the opponent, he inflicts a physical vulnerability debuff for 15 seconds, maxing out at 2 stacks, okay? Now, he's one of those champions where when you parry, you do the counter attack thing into a stun, like Kate Bishop, like Elsa, those types of champions, alright? When performing a well-timed block against basic attacks, Spider-Punk has a 100% chance to evade, inflicting a stun passive for 3 seconds, alright? The stun's removed when the opponent is stuck twice, and the evade goes on cooldown for 16 seconds. However, when you intercept the opponent, you reduce the cooldown by 6 seconds. It's really inflicting a physical vulnerability does this, okay? And you do that when you intercept. Now, if you do the counter evade on a medium attack dash, that will count as an intercept, and that will put a physical vulnerability debuff on the opponent. So that's going to take the cooldown from 16 seconds to 10 seconds, which is really nice. While this cooldown is active, if you would be struck by a medium or light attack while you're dashing forward, you have a chance to evade that hit and do a 2-second stun. Now, this is always active on defense, which will make him a little bit possibly sneaky in certain metas where you can't parry him, okay? So you have to consistently bait out heavy attacks because you literally can't intercept him without an evade counter, okay? So, crowd members, some more flavor to this guy's kit. You love to see it, alright? He gathers a crowd wherever he goes. When fighting in Battlegrounds or as a defender, he's going to start with 150 crowd. Otherwise, you start with 0. Now, you gain crowd in different ways throughout the fight. When either champion dodges a special attack or punishes their special attack, he gains 10 crowd members for each bar of power spent. So 10 for special 1, 20 for special 2, okay? When you defeat an opponent, half the crowd members are going to be coming to the next match, okay? So he like kind of ramps in a quest. And if you lose, all the crowd members leaves, okay? Now, when you perform the evade after the well-timed block, you gain 30 crowd members, and if Spider-Punk is knocked down, he loses 15. So basically, you want to go through the cycle of baiting special attacks and doing the counter evade and intercepting to get the cooldown back, okay? Now, the crowd, essentially all it really does is it increases the potency of your ruptures by up to 182%, okay? And when you're above 200 crowd members, you also gain an unstoppable passive for 3 seconds, which is pause until the end of the special attack. So 3 seconds after the attack, you go unstoppable at 200 plus, okay? For his heavy attack, the first hit refreshes all physical vulnerability from the intercepts, and the final hit inflicts a taunt debuff for 2 seconds, which is kind of nice if you're in the corner, you know? So, we're going to go in opposite order for the special 3s, alright, for the special attacks. We'll start with special 3. So the special 3, it inflicts 3 personal ruptures. If you get the perfect result in the minigame, you get 150 crowd members. The yellow result is 125, and if you fail it, even so, you get 100, okay? And also, once per fight, personal ruptures have their duration permanently increased by 25%. So in a longer fight, if you're using this guy for like Everest content or Winter of Woe coming up, you know, all that fun, or I guess it's not going to be Winter of Woe anymore, but you get the point. content. Any content like that, you're probably going to want to go for a special 3 first, alright? Plus, since, you know, you're not going to be ramped up, it's going to be easy to get to 300 crowd members, increase your potency of your ruptures, you know? So, the special 2. The final 3 hits are guitar strum attacks that inflict a personal rupture debuff that can be inflicted through blocks, okay? So that's why on defense it scales with base attack only. Now, as an attacker, 3 chords are generated. Swiping up or down while the chords are active amplifies the hit, bringing in crowd members, and if all of those hits are amplified, you inflict an additional rupture, okay? So, there's going to be an up arrow and a down arrow, and it's kind of like Guitar Hero, and I'll show you in the fights, but when the time comes, you want to swipe up and down on the screen. It's really cool. It's very unique, alright? Now, the special 1. On activation, he removes all personal ruptures that are on the opponent from special 2, and for each rupture removed, each hit inflicts an instant rupture, dealing up to, you know, dealing a burst of damage, right? Based on the remaining time left on the ruptures relative to the base rupture duration, okay? Now, here's the thing with Rupture, okay? Rupture does physical damage. Now, that's one of those things where it's not direct damage, okay? So some champions have higher physical resistance than others, okay? So for example, like Absorbing Man has very high physical resistance in Uru form. So when you're using Spider Punk for Absorbing Man, you're going to want to make sure you use your special 2 or your special 1 when he's not in Uru. That way you can do a lot of damage, or when he's in Magma or in no form at all, okay? So just something to keep in mind for champions who do physical damage or energy damage at different times. Now, his Sig ability. When the opponent finishes a special attack, he inflicts an Encore passive for the corresponding special. While the Encore is active, the opponent is 70% more likely to throw the same special attack, so it's kind of like a taunt in a very fun way. Kind of like Mr. Fantastic if he had a taunt, alright? Max attacks 3, they're removed if the opponent performs a different special. Now, for each Encore passive active, the opponent's attack rating during special attacks is reduced by 24%. That's up to almost 75%, you know, of like a weakness there on the special attacks. That's really good, okay? That's really, really solid. It makes him very tanky, especially if you can consistently bait the special 1s. Now, inflicting an Encore passive while an Encore is already active has up to basically a 100% chance to inflict a personal rupture debuff. Yeah, as you can see, the Sig ability is really nice, so I wasn't really too bummed when I didn't get the 7-star Spider Punk today, like at all, because like I kind of want the Sig ability. You know, the Encore passive is really good. It essentially gives him a taunt, an always active taunt. It reduces the potency of special attacks by up to 75%, right? And it also ramps him up with the ruptures if you consistently bait special 1 over and over and over, which is going to be really good for him when you combine that with the special 2 into the big burst in the special 1. So that is Spider Punk. We're going to go over a few fights today, not too many, because he's the type of champion who, like, you kind of do the same thing in every fight, and he either works for the fight or he doesn't, alright? So, let's take a look here today. Here we have this Jane Foster, about a Mystic 6-star Battleground size health pool. So what I want to do here, now keep in mind, real quick, alright? This is a quest. It's a questing scenario. So we're starting with 0 crowd member. We would start with 150. We would be at 180 right now, which is already well on the way to always being unstoppable during specials, right? Having the potency of ruptured increased, okay? So yeah, unfortunately, I can't really make it 150 on this environment. Just keep that in mind, okay? So here, as you can see, we're going for the intercepts after that. And now, this fight was a little bit sloppy, but that's why I liked it. Because what I love about this guy so much is that he's very consistent here in the fact that he's kind of almost like a Science Kitty Pride, where you do like the left and right swiping like crazy. And if they were to intercept you, if you were to mess up, watch this. It's probably going to happen like right here. No, it's not going to happen there, but it's going to happen eventually, where she goes to intercept me, and look. We evade. And guess what? She does it again. And guess what? It's so freaking safe. It's so safe to play this guy. It's crazy. It's one of my favorite things about him, is how he can evade like that. So it's really a cycle of like step back, dash back, evade the medium, do intercepts for another physical vulnerability, and to shorten the cooldown. Repeat up to, you know, a high amount of crowd members. Go for special 2, go for special 1. This is a 700,000 Jane Foster, okay? So it's going to be the same kind of thing. And of course, we're going to make our way up to special 2. We started with some crowd members here. See, now we started with less than 150, right? We started with less than 150 crowd, and we're at 300 already. We started with 95. So in Battlegrounds, if you're playing him properly, you should always be at 300 crowd members at this point when you go for the special 2, okay? What I like to do is I like to go for this and evade. I like to go in for a medium, heavy attack first hit to refresh the ruptures or physical vulnerability into the special 2, all right? Now we have the ruptures on, and we're gonna go for the special 1 here, boom! Okay, and now we get the bursts, and we get this beautiful special animation, lots of fun, okay? And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Then you repeat. At this point, you know, we keep the physical vulnerabilities up, so our basic attacks are nice as well. We're doing 10k crit. This is with a 7-star rank 2, but a 6-star rank 5 ascended will put out similar damage output, okay? The two are very comparable, all right? And as you can see, man, it's not too bad. It's very consistent. It's very safe. The taunt that's consistently on them is very, very good. You know, that's that, the Encore passives, as you can see, she's very willingly throwing those special 1s, and of course Jane Foster is not really a defender, but that's not really the point here. See, we're swiping down, and up there. Yellow is down, blue is up, alright? It doesn't really matter that Jane isn't a defender. The point that matters here is that he has a lot of control over the fight, which is really, really solid, with some very darn good damage output as well. Now, interesting thing, okay? Jane Foster has a stupid little special 1 beam, okay? Watch this against Onslaught. How about that RNG on the Neuroshocks, by the way? Jesus Christ, okay? So a special attack like this. Look at our crowd members. We're just going crazy with the crowd members, man. We're already pretty much all the way ramped up here. And plus, we can, like, you know, get a nice easy opening against Onslaught here because of that counter evade. Look at this. We are all the way ramped. We are all the way ramped up already from baiting 2 special attacks. So champions with longer special animations and projectiles is going to be ramping very quickly, okay? So I want to show you some other fights. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the deep dive rotation video that I made because I like it quite a lot. I like the music on it. I think it's really fun. So take a peek at it right here, and I'll see you in just a second.
To begin, parry the opponent to trigger your evade and start building your crowd. You could intercept the opponent to shorten your cooldown and stack physical vulnerability. Bait the opponent's specials to begin building your Encore passes to stack ruptures and gather a larger crowd. Now, Spider-Punk will evade when struck by a basic attack while dashing when his evade is on cooldown, so don't be afraid to take a risk. From here, keep this cycle going as you build to just under 3 bars of power. And keep in mind, if the opponent has projectile specials, you'll build that crowd much quicker. Now that you're all set up, launch your special 2 to stack ruptures and strum up or down to stack on even more. And then, follow it up with a special 1 to remove your ruptures and deal instant rupture burst damage on every hit. One thing to note, when fighting in Battlegrounds, you'll start with a crowd of 150. Making it much easier to build to a satisfying special 2 with maximum rupture potency. And hey, in a longer fight, you could follow this same loop while building up to your special 3, and launch to crank the amp up to 11 and increase the duration of your rupture effects by 25%. Then, use those Encore passives to stack on a larger amount of ruptures and juice up that special 1 burst even further. And since he did such a good job, half the crowd will follow Spider-Punk to his next match. Just make sure you keep the ball rolling.
How about that? Wasn't that super duper fun? I thought it was pretty fun. That's why I showed it to you. So that's Spider-Punk, man. That's Spider-Punk. I think he's really cool. A nice addition to the Spider class. I mean the Science class. Does some cool things. He's like the 18th Spider-Man character. But you know what? He's pretty darn cool, man. He's cool. He's got cool animations. He's a cool guy. He doesn't care about what society thinks. How can you hate on him? Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop your boy a big ol' like and let me know what you think about Spider-Punk in the comment section below. And shout out to Kabam Jax. I'm sure he's a very happy boy today. I'll be seeing you around.